Hello, Tomb Raider fan. My name is Rick. How are you doing?
Well, I'm pissed off, Rick. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for asking. Hello, everyone. I'm Ryan from FistfulOfPotions.com, and boy, is the internet astir. Let's do a quick recap of the events that led up to this video. During this year's Gamescom, Microsoft announced that the next game in the rebooted Tomb Raider franchise will be coming exclusively to Xbox One. But, wait,
Why is this happening to me? Is this real life?
which was pretty much the reaction that most Tomb Raider fans had. This was followed by the expected outcry of frustration from fans who had not yet or had not planned on purchasing an Xbox One, which then snowballed into a discussion about how exclusives affect the industry and how Microsoft is the bad guy and how Crystal Dynamics turned their back on us and you get it. This is clearly met with mixed reactions. However, it doesn't seem like anyone has stopped to consider all of the aspects of this announcement and its actual ramifications. So where do we even start? Tomb Raider is exclusive to Microsoft now, that's bullshit. Sure, but I'm assuming that you're a fan of the PlayStation Tomb Raider games, yes? Or are you a fan of the Sega Saturn game that was stolen by Sony back in the 90s? Yes, that's right folks, Sony pulled the same cockblock on Sega that Microsoft just did to Sony right now. Karma-wise, Sony had this coming. Bullshit denied. Crystal Dynamics turned their back on their fanbase. That could technically be true, depending on how you look at it. Let's talk numbers. According to VG Charts, the 2013 reboot of Tomb Raider sold 1.71 million units worldwide on Xbox 360. It also sold 0.17 million on Xbox One, with a combined total of 1.88 million units on Xbox platforms. On PlayStation 3, it sold 2.22 million units, not including the PlayStation 3 sales, which pulled in a 0.46 million for a total of 2.68 million combined units. For the sake of numbers and references, the game also pulled in a modest 0.27 million on PC. That said, statistically speaking, Tomb Raider has an approximate 30% larger install base on PlayStation systems over Xbox. This is also not considering that the top 4 best-selling Tomb Raider games of all time were on PlayStation systems, which is debatably relevant now because we don't know how many of these people now own Xboxes. Even still, it seems that most Tomb Raider fans still have a PlayStation according to the numbers. So, did Crystal Dynamics turn their back on their fanbase? Well, if you subscribe to the laws of averages, then kind of. Square Enix is gonna lose tons of money now because they're exclusive to one console. I can see where you would think that, but let's talk that out first. The Tomb Raider reboot was a great game, and it was actually pretty well received considering the tarnish that the franchise had collected over the years. That being said, Square thought that they had produced a AAA blockbuster Uncharted game, which was clearly a bit ambitious and led to the game ultimately underperforming in sales. Typically, when you have an underperforming product, you want to get the next one to the largest install base as possible, so that it can hopefully make up for its predecessor. Clearly then, the obvious answer would be to release it on as many platforms as you can, and at face value, that's a good idea. But, what if you could get all of your profit up front? Let me explain. Releasing a game is like an auction. You don't know where it will end, but you hope it ends the highest possible amount. You have an idea where you would like it to end, however, it's up to the bidders, aka the gamers, to make sure that it meets that goal. Let's say, hypothetically, your goal for Game A is a profit return of $6 million. Based on previous releases of Game A, you can expect to get about 60% of that profit from PlayStation systems, 30% from Xbox systems, and 10% from PC. But you're still at risk of missing that goal because these numbers are contingent on the people actually buying the game. However, what if Microsoft said, I'll give you 70% of your profits and you can recoup the rest from sales on our console? I don't care what you're selling, be it video games or frozen bananas, but if someone offers you guaranteed profits, you take it, especially if your previous product is trending below expectations. That being said, the franchise is not only underperforming overall, but performed the worst on the now exclusive platform. So, will this game bring PlayStation fans over to the Xbox One? Do Xbox fans even want this exclusive? This is what eludes me the most about the hype surrounding this announcement. We're talking about a franchise that has sold less than 4 million units of its last game across 5 different platforms, the lowest selling platform being the same platform that the next game is exclusive to. For the sake of context, Grand Theft Auto V sold over 40 million units on only 2 platforms. Locking down an exclusivity on Grand Theft Auto would be front-page worthy news and would deal a devastating blow to the competition. The Tomb Raider exclusivity is more of an unfortunate speed bump. I apologize if you're part of that speed bump, but the numbers don't lie. This won't impact the industry as big as the journalists, but mostly the fans are making it out to be. Reports say that the fans will turn their back on the franchise now. Bullshit. An unmeasurable group will follow through with that claim, but the mass majority will come crawling right back when the franchise is available again. History has proven this time and time again, and I'm not even going to dignify this with further explanation. Moving on. Rise of the Tomb Raider is exclusive. So define exclusive. At this point, anyone who believes that a franchise is permanently exclusive to a system is fooling themselves. The only time this can actually happen is when the console manufacturer owns the intellectual property. For instance, Microsoft owns Halo. There are also technicalities like Mighty No. 9. By definition, it's not a Mega Man game, but come on. I mean, look at that. Where's Capcom's lawyers when you need them? We thought that Mega Man was exclusive to Capcom. Clearly, Concept proved us wrong. It may not actually be a Mega Man game, but fans don't seem to care, and that's all that matters. Final Fantasy was exclusive to Nintendo, then it was exclusive to Sony, and now everyone gets it. In the video game industry, exclusive means how much patience do you have, or are you determined enough to make it yourself? If Tomb Raider never comes back to PlayStation consoles, I'll eat my shorts. Live. On Twitch. So now what am I supposed to do? Well, if you own an Xbox One, I don't know, buy a Tomb Raider. It looks decent. If you don't own an Xbox One and you need to play this game, buy an Xbox One? I mean, that's kind of how this works and has always worked. You own a Sega Saturn? Want to play Tomb Raider 2? Buy a PS1. If you can't afford an Xbox One, simply play something else. More games get released each week for all platforms and we as humans have time to play. Missing out on one isn't going to ruin your life, and if you think it will, I have a simple solution. Start saving your money and cut spending on other things and buy an Xbox One. If you own a PS4 and you have a job, you can save and at some point play this game that you apparently can't live without. Otherwise, you're just bitching about your first world problems on the internet, which has no place in being on the... Actually, it seems as though the internet is in fact the correct place for that. Never mind, I'm sorry that I just wasted your time. Please, carry on.